Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, say good Tuesday morning to you, and welcome to the show. Stephanie Pauly is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jared Construction Studios right on time, right on budget. Visit jared-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting service provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor on Virginia Street. Tony's summer hours, Mondays, 11 to 3, Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5:30, Saturdays by appointment only. Visit bestmastertaylor.com or Tony's Facebook page for more information. Tuesday edition of the show coming up a little bit later on. Going to talk a little politics with our good buddy Tom Sussman. He'll be stopping by the next segment. Also, there are some issues, and you may have seen a copy of this morning's paper this morning. There are some issues being reported with a water and some mold issues over at the YWCA shelter, the Sojourner shelter for homeless women and families. And the city, of course, City of Charleston owns the building, and the YWCA leases it from them, from what I understand. Matt Sutton, Chief of Staff for Mayor Goodman, will join us to talk about that coming up a little bit later on the show. Plus your calls and texts too. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. And yes, we are going to get to some other things in the news. And of course, one of the big stories around these parts late yesterday afternoon, story broke of the death of Tom McGee, legendary broadcaster, legendary anchor person, WCHS television, no relation, and WOWK TV 13. We'll get into that coming up a little bit later on as well. And TJ Meadows will join us a little bit later on the show to preview Talkline today. He's got some breaking news, and we've talked in the past about the possibility, you know, the Republican Party has their gathering this weekend in Morgantown, State GOP, and there has been they made a change within the last couple of years where independents could not vote in the primary, and they switched that around to that, so the independents can't vote. There had been some talk that may be taken up and that they may revert back to that. TJ Meadows is reporting that is apparently not going to happen at the state GOP convention this weekend. So we'll talk to TJ and to Tom Sussman about that. Let's bring in our good friend now, the legendary, semi-legendary, almost world-famous,
semi-retired
JK the DJ.
What's happening, Dave?
How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there.
First time you've been here in our new studio.
Yeah, it's lovely. Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, we like it. We like it. That's genuine imitation brick. Okay, so don't scoff at it, buddy. Retrofest. This is your baby. It's going on this weekend. City Center, Slack Plaza, downtown Charleston. How many years you been doing this now?
This is year 4.
Year 4. All right. So tell us what Retrofest is.
Well, it's a celebration of old stuff,
All
like
right.
me and you.
Yeah.
You know, we fit right in. We're in that demographic. And, of course, retro means something different to just about everybody you talk to. So we can kind of broaden the appeal there as far as music goes and play to just about anybody at any time throughout the course of the day. You got great bands. We've got Hair Supply going to be the headliner in the evening from 8 until about 9:30.
Are my guys in Hair Supply great or what?
Oh, they're spectacular. They look the part, sound the part, everything.
Official party band of our sister station, 98.7 Mountain Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock, which almost assures you Steve Animal is going to be there somewhere. He's their manager / roadie / a little bit of everything. But I mean, the guys in Hair Supply, they've played Regatta, they've played all the big events around here, Mardi Gras, whatever. They're fantastic. They really
travel. They get all over the place too, man. All over the Eastern Seaboard. I mean,
and they could play even more. It's just that they all have full-time jobs, which is so anti-rock and roll. You know, it's so anti-rock and roll, guys. Come on,
it's
better.
too establishment.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about some of the other groups you got playing.
Well, we've got Lee Dean coming in here to do his Frank Sinatra and his Elvis thing.
Know Lee very well, former coworker of mine.
Yeah, right. Okay, and Analog Boy will be there as well.
Analog Boy.
Yeah. We don't know much about them, but if you guys go to our Retrofest page, you can learn a lot more about Analog Boy for sure. And of course, I'll be playing music in between the band sets, and we'll have other performers there as well as Stilt Walkers. Who else do we have there? We have Cosmic Wonderland. We have Joey Stepp, comic. He's a lot of fun to hang around with. He'll be working the crowd and on stage. So Retrofest starting at 11 a.m. until about 10 p.m. on Saturday.
And this stuff is free.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
except for the beer.
Well,
you got
to pay for the beer. Understood. What else goes on with, other than just the music? What else you got?
Well, like I said, we've got the aerialist, she calls herself, Cosmic Wonderland. She puts on a heck of a show. She also worked with us on July 4th there at Slack Plaza. And Stilt Walker, as well as Joey Stepp, comedian.
Okay,
He's a magician and a comedian.
What kind of vendors you got? I should have phrased that better.
Yeah,
JK.
no worries.
What kind of vendors have you got?
Well, we've got a broad selection of crafts vendors, also food and beverage, and we might even have some classic automobiles here that day.
Sweet. And it's all at City Center Slack Plaza on Saturday. And there's no charge, like you said, unless you take part in, unless you partake of the food vendors or the drink or whatever, just to come out, listen to the music, take in whatever else you get there. It's all free of charge, right?
Yeah, we'll have plenty of stuff for the kids to do. So it's a nice, fun family event all day long, Slack Plaza.
What was it that made you decide to want to do this a few years ago?
Well, I just thought that it'd be cool to have a little festival of our own, try to raise some money for a good cause. We're trying to raise money for scholarships for inner city kids.
Okay.
Yeah, and also try to get some money together maybe for music lessons, dance lessons, singing lessons.
Okay.
And things like that. We're trying to put something together with the city. We're still waiting to hear back from them about doing something at the rec centers, which I was raised on as a kid. I was raised in the Deep East End and spent a lot of time at Roosevelt playing basketball, and also Canal City Rec Center. Yeah. Also the King Center.
So here's the thing about retro. Joe, and I think you and I talked about this last year when you were on the show, probably the years before that as well, is that, as you said at the top, it means different things to different people. And I've had this discussion a lot with people of various age groups. One of my favorite people in the world is my next door neighbor, who's a little bit older than what you and I are. And he's talking about, to him, classic music. He said, well, it's from the 1950s and 1960s. Well, okay, you and I are both kids of the 80s. That's retro to us. Here's what people don't want to think about, and I talk about this all the time on the air. Truly retro right now, in the definition from a marketing standpoint, 2004.
Oh, right.
2005.
Sure. Snoop Dogg is retro.
Yes. Yeah. Nirvana is 10 years beyond retro.
Right.
So that early 2000s music, nobody of our age wants to think that. That's classic now.
Yeah. We got to work that in for sure.
So,
there's no denying.
And that's what you got to do, because you have people. I've been down there when you do this. You got people of all ages. You got people from their 70s and their 80s, but you also got people. You got kids down there as well. So you got to kind of please everybody.
Yeah, amen. That's a true story.
Why is it that you think things that are retro are so popular? Because it's just people wanting to relive their glory days and wanting to think about the good old days.
Yeah, nostalgia, man. Everybody's got nostalgic memories that bring back fond memories from their childhood or even adolescent years, even early adult years too. So,
I love to hear people that'll say, well, the music of my generation was the best. And we all think that. You and I were in the green room talking about Hair Supply and talking about 80s music. And here's the thing, even though, I was a kid that grew up in the 70s and 80s, got into radio in the late 1980s, some of the 80s music is really crap. But that's okay. It's okay. It's just in our mind, it's the best music ever. And I'm sure that people that are fans of 70s music, 60s music, 90s, too, that they all say the same thing. But it can't all be good.
Okay, can we speak about Debbie Gibson for a moment?
Hey, easy now. Easy on Debbie. I was playing that Debbie Gibson stuff when it was new on record.
That stuff was
literally
hot.
On record.
Hot.
On record. Talk about you a little bit, JK. You're kind of a legend around these parts.
Well, I'm famous on my street. Everybody knows me there.
It's probably because of a warrant or something. But you've played just about every bar, festival, every dance in the Kanawha Valley for a few years now.
I do what I can.
Yeah.
I do what I can.
Why do you enjoy it so much?
Man, let me tell you something. I remember retreating into my bedroom with a pair of headphones and a little record player and just zoning out to the kind of music that I was listening to back when I was a child. And I was like, man, this is taking me to a different location. It was an escape for me to listen to music. Felt great. And I was like, man, this is easy to get hooked on, and the rest is history,
legal.
I guess you could say. Yeah, exactly.
Unlike other things people can get hooked on, especially people that do what we do for a living. But you also did radio.
Yeah. On and off for the better part of 15 years at WVSR.
We don't speak of them on the air.
That's right. Oops.
I'm kidding. We're all friends behind the scenes. We're just competitors, in the real world. I'm kidding about that. And of course, we got a mutual friend and my big brother and semi-agent Burke Allen. And
right.
I actually had Burke on the midday show yesterday talking about conspiracy theories.
Interesting.
The conspiracy theory with Burke is how does he still have the same wardrobe that he had 20 to 30 years ago?
He's a smart guy. He's thrifty.
He's thrifty. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one way to put it. That's a nice way to say cheap.
I welcomed him to the Charleston radio market. We were doing an event. I was in sales at that time, also on air part-time. And we were holding a live event at where Charleston Blueprint is now. That was the Ritz nightclub. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, the Ritz. You remember that?
I mean, I wasn't in Charleston at the time, but I'm familiar with the name. Yeah.
Of course, he stepped in the door. Didn't even have a chance to talk to him. Got right up on stage and hosted the dating game, which is a 102 promotion for that night at the Ritz. And they came over and sat with me during the breaks and said, hey, I'm Burke, I'm Joe. And that's when the relationship began.
He'd been doing radio in Huntington at the time.
For years.
Yeah, he was
and Logan too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then he's been. I used to be able to do his exact. It was Salt Lake City, Orlando, Vegas. He just couldn't keep a job
in Northern Virginia.
And now he's doing the management thing, manager of Landau and Homer Hickam and Dream in Denver. About 30 or 40 different clients. What a gig! Yeah, he does well for himself. Where were some of the places that aren't around here anymore that you used to play?
Well, Tops and Logan.
Okay,
speaking of Logan,
yeah,
I really loved that bar. Good times. Let's see, your Spanky's on the boulevard downtown where Vino's is now. That was a good time. There was a bar where Jimmy John's is on the corner of Capitol and Virginia Streets.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't last long. I did Bar 101, which at the time was Cheers, Muldoon's, which is where the Rock City Cake is now. Did you know there was a bar in there? Yeah. Well, Banana Joe's probably at least. I also did Banana Joe's. Oh, my gosh. You'd think I'd have bags under my eyes from all that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And guess what? I do.
And you did that, and you're only 35 years old now.
Yeah. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, imagine that. And you also told me off the air that you used to do karaoke at Bennigan's.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Oh, man, that place used to rock, too. They did a happy hour thing from the beginning of the show all the way through the end of the show. Place was packed with college kids. We had a great time, had a little dance floor. We were always able to fill it up, and there was always a line of people. I'm talking 35 or 40 people that wanted to sing every show in there, and you'd have to wait 2 hours to get your turn. It was a lot of fun.
Isn't it amazing that the more alcohol you consume, the better your singing gets?
Yes, and the worse your hearing gets. Yeah. And so the two go hand in hand.
All right. Let's get back to Retrofest. Give us all the details, because you and I can sit here and do this all day. Let's get back to Retrofest.
And we should sometime.
Yeah. Retrofest, get back to it.
Yeah. City Center, Slack Plaza, starting at 11 a.m. I'll be spinning the tunes for the first hour or so. Lee Dean comes on after that. And, of course, we'll have our live music all throughout the course of the day, and I'll be playing music in between the band breaks. Tons of eats, lots of treats. Looking forward to maybe getting a few classic automobiles on Summer Street. Oh, Shuckers will be there. Oh. I'm going to hit the oysters for sure.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are going to have a great time if you join us.
Crab stuffed mushrooms. Trust me, I'm going to get the crab stuffed mushrooms. Guy and the
Thanks
folks
for the tip.
The crab stuffed mushrooms. I hope they have those on the food truck. Yeah. And again, obviously you got to pay for the food and drink, as you said, but just to come out and enjoy them. Do people need to bring chairs and things like that?
That would be very helpful, yes. Okay. And maybe even an umbrella of some type to shade yourself, because it's going to be pretty hot on Saturday.
And hopefully the rain will hold off.
Amen. Fingers crossed.
But again, if you want to come out and just enjoy the music and the retro vibe, all of that's free of charge.
Absolutely.
But if you want to have a drink or you want to eat something, you'll have to pay for that, obviously. The legendary JK, the DJ.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Dave.
All right, we'll see you Saturday. It's 9/21. Vaccines are your best protection against severe disease from flu and COVID-19. If you're 65 or older, risk less, do more with this season's vaccines. Get started at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Charleston City Manager Matt Sutton is going to join us a little bit later on in the show, and Tom Sussman is on the way next. We'll take a break. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Earn more with 4 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 4%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by one of the 8 Poca Valley Bank locations today. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Hi, I'm Zach Hupp, Project Manager with CEC. After graduating from Glenville State College, I took over my dad's surveying business. It was fulfilling, but when CEC came calling, I knew it was an opportunity I couldn't refuse. With CEC, I'm reaching clients I never dreamed of and seeing projects through to completion. It's more than a job, it's a new chapter. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
924, Stephanie Pauly, our producer today. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Generations Physical Therapy, with 9 practices, all offered extended hours, so access to physical therapy has never been easier. For an appointment, 304-760-5660, or visit generationspt.com. Matt Sutton, Chief of Staff for Mayor Goodwin's coming up a little bit later on the show. Bringing in our good friend Tom Sussman right now. Mr. Sussman, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. How are you, sir?
I am doing fine. I would be remiss if I did not ask you, the whole city and the surrounding areas talking about the death of Tom McGee yesterday. Your memories or thoughts of Tom McGee?
Yeah, he was just a really good anchor. Didn't really personally know him, but came to respect him and always looked forward to the news, and he did a great job.
Yeah, he came here from CNN, and he was at WCHS television, no relation, and also WOWCA TV. Later went on to become an attorney. And everybody around Charleston, here's what I found in the last 17, 18 hours since we learned of his passing, age 78, I think it was, and he died in hospice care. Everybody around Charleston seems to have a Tom McGee story.
I don't have one. Moved here from Beckley and just really respected the way that he anchored the news and was just a quality journalist. And you could tell the CNN training was there.
Oh, and he just looked the part.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, did he not? He just looked you had that anchor man, which somebody talked about Ron Burgundy, in that whole movie. But I mean, if you looked up, anchor person of the 1970s or 80s,
and that would be the picture.
Tom McGee had to look. I want to ask you about this. I wanted to get into this. TJ Meadows is putting on X and on social media. Multiple sources say there will not be a push this Saturday to reopen the West Virginia Republican primaries. Boils down, according to TJ, to parliamentary and procedural issues. Your thoughts on that?
I call BS.
All right. Calling BS on you, TJ, if you're listening.
I talked to some folks within the Republican Party probably a week ago, and their feeling is that they just want Republicans voting on Republicans in the primary, get back the way it used to be, kind of the way the Democrats were when they were the majority party. There are some that believe that there are too many moderates in the Republican Party, and they want it to become more conservative. And so,
go ahead and call it what the people in the party call it. They call them rhinos.
Yeah, they call them. I call them Scotch drinking Republicans. Those are the old Republicans, and so I mean, each party has the right to figure out their destiny, and if you get the majority of the votes, but I think there's a move and a belief that the Republican Party in West Virginia is not conservative enough, and they want to make it more conservative.
How? Okay.
I mean, you asked me what my impression was. I'm not going to append. I think there's a risk, though, when you do that, because there are conservatives in West Virginia in terms of economic conservatives. They're not social conservatives. And if you do take it too far to the right, then does it come a time when more moderate Democrats can get elected? And I think that is the situation. I think a two-party system in this state would be great. We have some business interests in Ohio, and I see where they have competition. The Republicans, dominate a lot of it, but there's competition. And I think at the end of the day, the product for the voters is much better if you have a little competition for ideas.
Well, and I was talking to somebody the other day, a good friend of mine, who is a politico, if you will, in southern West Virginia. And he's a registered Republican, and he is one, but former Democrat, as almost everyone in southern West Virginia is these days. Former Democrats, and like I've told my story before. I registered to vote when I was in high school, and I registered as a Democrat because in Logan County, if you weren't a Democrat, you had no one to vote for, especially at that time.
Right.
And everybody was everybody was a Democrat. There were no Republicans. But getting back to my friend, he said he considers it to be political suicide for the Republican Party in the southern part of West Virginia, and that they're going to lose a whole lot of votes in the South. Now, it could be argued maybe there aren't a lot of votes in southern West Virginia one way or the other. Your thoughts?
Well, I think where they run the risk is more in the eastern panhandle, because as you see more and more folks from Washington, D.C. and northern Virginia move into the panhandle, and they're making that move. And the northern part of Virginia is a moderate to liberal area. I think that's more of an issue there. If you go so far to the right, then do you alienate it? But that's a balance that party is going to have to make. And I think that we need a little bit of competition for ideas.
Well, and I liked your point at the beginning of the segment. And again, we're talking with Tom Sussman. It's their party; they can make the rules.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, they have 100%.
And I don't fault them. The Democrats. If you would ask the Democrats in 1970, should an independent vote in the Democratic primary, they would have laughed you in the face.
Well, but how many independents were there, though, in the 1970s?
But they didn't want to take a chance to open it up. And when Republicans started talking about open primaries before they took control of the legislature, it kind of goes. So, the Republicans wanted to have judicial elections be nonpartisan. Now that they're in the majority, you hear Republicans say, "Oh, now we need to make them partisan." So it's kind of whose goat's getting gored, I guess.
Write that down, Stephanie. Whose goat's getting gored? Quote from Tom Sussman. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds are at High Point this week, back at Gomart Ballpark Friday night. Tickets, promotions, schedules, merchandise, and more. Visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Text says, a move to attempt to reopen the primary will fail spectacularly at the GOP meeting on Saturday. The votes simply aren't there.
And so what do? We just blame it on parliamentary procedure.
Yeah. Oh, so you think that's what they're just going to blame it on?
They're going to say, well, it's parliamentary procedure. That's the public persona. But I guarantee you, if Governor Morrissey and the leadership in the Republican Party wanted it open, they'd find a way to suspend the rules just like they do at the legislature.
There are three that we know of, three folks that are going to be casting their hat in the ring for the Republican leadership when I interviewed all three of them on Metro News Midday at one point last week. So and I don't know why, for some reason, TJ Meadows is walking in the studio here. Did you know he called BS on what you said? I'm going to start a fight no, I'm not turning your microphone on. I'm kidding. Mr. Meadows is here, but he's just doing this. This is where he gets his hair and makeup done.
Okay. Well, that's when y'all turn the camera. They don't turn the cammers on you. Is there something wrong?
Yeah. Yes. I
didn't want to say that.
All right. But I interviewed the three folks that are vying for the chairmanship. Last week, I interviewed them on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Immediately, on the Saturday that Matt Herridge announced, because he's a member of the Morrissey administration, he announced that he was stepping down. That announcement hit at noon on a Saturday afternoon, and within 10-15 minutes, Senator Justice had a statement out endorsing Delegate Josh Holstein out of Boone County.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. I did talk to a party chair the other day, county chair, and they said they want to move away from elected officials as being party chair. So I don't know where that goes. And I guess a lot of it's going to be, what does the governor want and what does Senator Justice want and Senator Capito? And do they control those votes?
And here's what I think, and it's a good point that you bring up, Tom, because I think sometimes people forget what an influence that the people on top have on the state parties, whether it's Republican or Democrat. And trust me, a lot of those folks that are going to be casting ballots in Morgantown this weekend decide, and whether it's for a chair or anything else they're deciding on, they got Shelley Moore Capito, they got Jim Justice, they got Riley Moore, and they got Carol Miller in the back of their mind.
Well, and they have the governor. The
governor too, yeah.
You don't want to be a sitting governor and find yourself adverse with the state party chair.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you avoid that? You make sure your person gets to be the chair. Well, Jim Justice is talking about coming back and running for governor. I keep hearing that rumor. And so maybe he wants his own chair so that then he can control that.
Is that a legitimate thing, though, that we hear that Governor Justice is going to come back and run for governor?
Yeah, we heard that with Joe Manchin. When you're a governor, you're one of one. When you go to D.C., you're one of 100. It's kind of frustrating. You're low man on the totem pole. I don't know. There's definitely, not a great lot of love between the current governor and Senator Justice. So,
yeah, that's pretty evident. From what I've been able to, I had heard some scuttle, if you will, Mr. Sussman, that First Lady Denise Morrissey might at one time have been interested in running for Republican Party chair. Now, I don't know. I got that from some pretty reliable sources, understanding that's not a thing now. Did you hear those same things?
No, I didn't. But yeah, in those situations, you hear a lot.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of things are put out there by the people that are interested, straw man, kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So going back to the Jim Justice situation, I said, with all due respect to Senator Justice from the very beginning, that it didn't seem to me like he was a good fit in D.C. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying he couldn't do the job or anything like that. I'm just saying Jim Justice is literally and figuratively a larger-than-life character, and he likes to be the star. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of Republicans and Democrats that did great things had that same ego. That's fine. And when you go to D.C., he's just another guy.
Well,
there.
But Governor Justice also is really good on the interpersonal discussion, the one-on-one discussion, meeting and working with people. He had people support him in his elections here that you would go, really, they're supporting a Republican for governor, some of the education groups and whatnot. So I think that it's a little too early. I would suggest to you that with his demeanor and the way he works with people and gets to know people, let's give him a year and see where he comes out, as with any of those senators, because a lot of times people get elected to a congressional or a legislative branch and you go, I don't see how they're going to survive. And the next thing you know, they're pulling the strings.
What do you make, Tom, of this battle between the Morrissey administration and the state school board?
Well, I think
it's going to go to court. We know that. But.
Well, I think the state school board looks at the legislation that's there and they say, this is the rules. We got to follow the rules. Executive orders are nice, but they're not the law. And so I think you have to follow the law. I think what the Secretary of State did, which I thought was smart, by not accepting those rules, will then facilitate a quick hearing on does the legislature then have the power to rule on the rules? In terms of the vaccines, I think it's pretty clear. I think that law that's out there right now that requires mandatory school-age vaccines stands.
Why do you think Governor Morrissey, Tom, is so adamant about this? Is it about the vaccines, or is it about the principles behind it? I mean, it could be any other topic. It's just that he wants to be the one in charge.
I don't know. There's his base for the large part is anti-vaccine. And I think that he's carrying that message. Although my personal feeling is it's an anti-health message. It's not make America healthy again. It's make West Virginia sicker again. If you do away with school-age vaccines, which I'm sure that'll get your texting going from Mike Stewart.
Pick it on the guy. He's not even here, man.
Well, I guarantee you, maybe he's listening.
Yeah, possible.
But no, I mean, so I think that's where that is. The whole question, the legislature and the governor have a real hard time with the fact that the Constitution sets forth that the state school board is a separate constitutional arm of government in West Virginia to protect education. In the old days, education was very political, and I think people wanted to take it away from the politics. Mm-hmm. And the voters have spoken twice on that. So I think that, but they want to have control.
Tom Sussman, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Now, I also wanted to ask you, because I know you're very involved in things, believe it or not, outside politics.
Absolutely.
We had you scheduled to be on the midday show yesterday, but we had some breaking news out of Clarksburg with a water main break, and so you got bumped for a fire hydrant. Sorry about that, but we had to do it. You understand. Absolutely. But you're very involved with the Jackson County Fair, and Jackson County Fair is going to be kicking off. We'll get you a little plug in for the fair.
Yeah, the fair is going on right now. It's at Cottageville. Our radio station, WMOV, we were out there pretty much as most rural radio stations do.
Yeah, I spent my time on those in the past.
Yeah, it's one of the largest market sales in the state of West Virginia. Will be this Friday. A great Midway super entertainment. Cleverleys are there on Thursday. They've got music, mud bogs, really good food. I mean, just everything that you'd want in a county fair is going on now. It's fair season.
And if you're looking for something to do here in the Charleston area, it's not far at all to get up to Cottageville.
It's pretty good. It really is. It's a lot easier than getting to the state fair. Not quite as big as the state fair, but more fun.
All right. Tom Sussman, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, man. Thanks a lot.
Good to see you.
It is 22 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. It's a podcast promoting the healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com. Under the podcast menu. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. Matt Sutton, Chief of Staff for Mayor Amy Goodwin, coming in to talk with us next. We're back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Don't let the warm weather slip away. Finish those projects you've been putting off around the house while summer is still here. Need a little extra help covering the cost? Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union has you covered. At MCWV, you can get a home improvement loan of up to $25,000 with rates as low as 7.5% and up to 60 months to pay back. So whether you want to replace your HVAC, get a new roof, add a porch, or whatever else, we're here to help. Our processing times are fast and no appraisal is needed. So apply today at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
You've worked hard. You've saved. Now it's time to make your money work for you without second-guessing every decision. I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I help people retire with confidence and clarity. We'll create a personalized plan that fits your lifestyle, your goals, and your legacy. Retirement should feel like freedom, not fear. Visit 4thavenuefinancial.com. Let's get started today. 4th Avenue Financial, retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCole Advisors Incorporated.
Adventure awaits on the water. Boating season is here, and Trojan Landing Marine and Power Sports in Charleston has everything you need to make a splash. From fishing boats to family pontoons, you'll find top brands and expert advice to get you out on the water fast. Summer is short. Don't wait. Trojan Landing Marine and Power Sports, where adventure begins. Visit TrojanLanding.com and ride into something epic.
Foundation issues? Wet basement? Drainage problems? Contact Foster Foundation Repair. Locally owned and operated by a licensed professional engineer, Foster Foundation Repair provides rock-solid service with certified results. Contact us today for a free evaluation. Foster Foundation Repair. Rock-solid service. Certified results.
FosterFoundationRepair.com.
West Virginia Contractor License WV061105.
Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. But are you really ready? I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I help people just like you turn confusion into confidence. Whether retirement is 5 years away or right around the corner, now is the time to make a smart plan. Let's make sure your retirement income lasts as long as you do. Call today or visit 4thAvenueFinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial. Retirement done right.
Securities offered through J.W. Cole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through J.W. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
20 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Fresh Air Filters of Taze Valley. Fresh Air, your trusted filter experts for both your home or business. 304-440-1104 or visit freshairfilters.us because everyone deserves fresh air. Biggly Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. Texas Patrick Morris and his wife are telling people privately that they are concerned that they will have a party chair that's not one of their people. And guess what? It's going to happen. And they're going to be on the outside looking in, which is pretty much the case right now anyway. I'm not involved in Republican Party politics anymore, so I don't know. Text said, why do Republicans who have historically professed their loyalty and adherence to the Constitution always challenge and try to go against its rules and laws? So I'm not really quite sure what that is referring to, but okay. Matt Sutton is here, Chief of Staff for Mayor Goodwin. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing good, pal. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Last week was Charleston Public Courts tennis tournament, so it's always a good community event and a great reminder to me that I'm not 30 years old anymore. Yeah, so they say I get off the court at 11 o'clock at night, and they're like, okay, you won. You get to play the next match at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And my body's like, nah, man, that's not going to work.
It's like you're like 8 o'clock in the morning like this year or 8 o'clock in the morning like next May or something.
So, no, it's always a fun event. West Virginia State runs it. My good friends Andre Cunningham and Sidney Prince put on a great tournament. So, it's a couple hundred people, a lot of folks from actually come down from Kentucky and come over from Ohio. We had a couple, and it's getting younger, which is great too. So it's a good community event that paired with TBT. We got Multi-Fest coming up. It's just, summer in Charleston doesn't stop.
Let's talk about TBT. Yeah. We got the championship in the West Virginia Regional tonight. It'll be West Virginia in that event, and they're playing for the championship night, 7 o'clock at the Coliseum and Convention Center.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I think, when we get the TBT in town and we get the draws, we always look for that, WVU Marshall game, right? That's what we aim for and hope that we can get, because that's when we have our biggest crowd. I mean, no matter what team you cheer for, or even if you're just a basketball fan, it's really enjoyable to watch. So not only do we get that, but then we also get one of them in the finals. It works out just absolutely perfect. So, best of luck to West Virginia tonight. I will say that there was the thing on Facebook, John Flowers or Twitter, I guess, posted something about the mayor cheering for heard that she was wearing a different color shirt. He said she was wearing green, but she wasn't. She was wearing aqua. She was cheering for both teams. But
I was going to say, doesn't the mayor have she got a kid at Marshall and a kid at WVU?
Yeah, I think that John decided that that'd be a good way for him to get some likes, so he decided to point out the mayor. But she's got a kid in both schools and has always rooted for both schools, so it's always weird. She was there as a neutral party cheering on the event, but it's all in good fun. And we know with John, it's all in good fun. He came out to the regatta, and him and Kevin Jones and John Elmore got to come out and get the crowd ready during the regatta for TBT. So it's always fun that way, and it's just it really is a fun event. And to be able to announce the WVU Wake Forest game coming in December right before TBT kicked off was actually another huge announcement for the CVB and the Coliseum. So it really is having those relationships with those schools. We have the game over at Gomar Park, which is always awesome. And of course, we haven't had a WVU Marshall basketball game in a long time, but I know that, we're ready to host when they're ready to play. So it's,
are you listening?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you listening?
Yep.
I'm going to leave my thoughts. Yeah. I'm going to leave my thoughts on that alone. You can honestly, though, you can support both schools. People have a tendency to forget that. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can. I'm a Marshall guy,
should.
but I mean, other than when they play WVU, I'm all about WVU. You can actually do both.
Yeah.
But Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan. If you're injured, hire Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. All right, so TBT tonight, but I got some other stuff I want to talk to you about. There was a story in the paper this morning, lead story, as a matter of fact, in the local Gazette Mail, about water leaks and mold hitting the YWCA. Of course, we're talking about the exact name is the Sojourner's Shelter for Homeless Women and Families. What's going on here, man?
Yeah, so the Sojourner shelter that YWCA runs, first of all, is we have a lot of important programs, but this is one of the most important programs we have in our city. It helps expose women in domestic abuse situations, and is our women's homeless shelter. So it's an extremely important program in our city, and it is inside a city building. So the city owns the building that Sojourners is in. And, just like every other building, it gets old. We got a roof we've got to repair. There was some longstanding issues in a shower that we weren't made aware of that ended up, we all have that issue with a shower or plumbing. If you don't take care of it when it first starts, it's going to become something a whole lot bigger. So it became a bigger issue, but working with contractors to get those problems fixed and working with the YWCA. I will say, the YWCA is under new leadership, and there was a little bit of a gap between Deb Weinstein ran the Y for years, and between that and the new leader Sonia, there was some not communication going on and things that kind of went under, which happens, right? I mean, it happens.
Absolutely.
And some things that go, and we all know that any issue that deals with water, as we're all dealing with this summer, spring and this summer, any issue that deals with water, if it's not addressed immediately, will become a problem that you've got to deal with. So we're working with them really closely to deal with that problem right now. We have a lot of great contractors, and shout out to all of them who are willing to come out and help us on the fly. But fixing the shower problems, and then we've got the roof, which I believe the bid's due today. And then if we get good bidders, we'll get in front of city council. But working with them really hard to make sure that place gets the upgrades that it needs, and then that they get their general maintenance plan put together. Because really, with anything else, just a little bit of oversight, and you can avoid major problems. Because we do want folks in there not only to be comfortable, to be safe, and to in one of the worst times of their lives, to have a place that they can rely on and be in. And the Y does an amazing job running the program, and it's got a few issues we got to fix in the building and make sure that we can keep people safe and comfortable while they're helping to get back on their feet.
And they do a fantastic job there.
Amazing job.
As you said, and at that time when people are in there, they ain't exactly at their, as you said, their best point in their life.
Yeah, and I think it is something that our care team relies upon. It's something that the Charleston Police Department relies upon. They are a first phone call in a lot of situations, and their staff. We have an amazing staff of social workers and professionals who help women in need. And, it is one of those things that is a critical program in our city, and, just working with them to clean up some longstanding problems and make sure we can get everybody back to where they need to be. And I think it's worked out really well. We've got a good communication plan that's been put in place, and we've got a good maintenance plan for that building and for other buildings they have that's been put in place, and feel good about moving forward, just fixing some problems.
Talking to Matt Sutton, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Pinnacle offers a 4-phase assessment for your properties: inspection, sampling, and analysis, comprehensive reporting, management planning. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can't hurt you. Before we let you go, I know you're a Charleston guy, and of course this has been kind of dominating the news cycle over the last 12 to 20 hours or so, and that was the death of Tom McGee. Yeah. Longtime anchor person, WCHS television, no relation, and WOWK later went on to become an attorney. You being a Charleston guy, I mean, you knew Tom McGee.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all
did.
grew up watching Tom, and I grew up watching Tom, and then I was lucky enough as when I got in my professional career to get to work with him. I'm older now, so I think it was when he was going to CW. That's what, yeah. So got to work with him when he was doing that, and just a genuinely nice guy. And it's always people meet you, Dave, and you're a personality on the radio, and you're in a personality in person. You tend to be the same person for people who don't know you out there. And Tom was the exact same way. Like some folks are one way on TV and another way in person. Tom was just jovial, nice, and always willing to crack a joke. And I think it was our buddy Tony Peranzino that referred to him as the original Ron Burgundy, and I think that was kind of right. I mean, that was Tom. He was larger than life, and he was large. And as a kid, when you got to meet him or see him, you really felt like you were meeting a celebrity, because because he was. Sure, I mean, he was our guy, and it's sad of his passing, but especially a time like this where now everybody gets to relive all of those memories and all of those stories. It's fun to hear everybody talk about how great Tom was.
Had a text here. So the first memory I have of Tom McGee that sticks out when he was dressed as Santa and arrived at the town center. He came down the escalator at Center Court, that was pre-Starbucks, and he led a sing-along of Alabama's Angels Among Us. I pray God be with his family. Rest in peace, Tom.
Yeah, I could tell. I grew up at St. Anthony's Church over on the west side, and huge fish dinners every Friday night during Lent. And, politicians would come through and people would come through and everybody just kind of sit there and introduce them. When Tom walked through the door, everybody stood up and wanted to meet him. Like, it was just one of those guys where I can always remember that. Like, a state senator could walk in and people would kind of, oh, look who that is. But when Tom walked in, everybody stood up to go meet him because he was just larger than life. And he was a great West Virginian and a great Charlestonian. So he will definitely be missed. And, but it is fun listening to people tell the stories.
Well, and I think, too, we'll say this and I'll let you go. I think, too, you got to understand the time frame. I mean, I grew up in a time in the 70s and 80s. We didn't get cable television until, like, I was in junior high. Yeah. Back, it was called junior high. That should tell you something right there. So we had primarily 3, 8, 13, and a couple other TBS, a couple little channels here and there. And so the people that you saw on TV, the Tom McGees or the others, that was the news, because you didn't have all of these different outlets. People didn't have X, they didn't have YouTube TV or whatever, and you got your local channels. That's where you got your news. And whether it was a Tom McGee or a Tony Cavalier, Bob Brunner is another one. Mr. Brunner is always going to be on the show tomorrow.
Nice.
I've already scheduled to have Bob Brunner come on the show tomorrow. Just that was the news. And when you met those people, I mean, it was like you said, it was like meeting somebody larger than life. And Tom McGee was one of those people.
Yeah, and he just carried himself that way, too. And, I mean, I think it was, to your point, we didn't have CNN anchors or Fox News anchors. We didn't have those people in our lives. We had our local news anchors, and they were the most trusted source we had. But Tom not only was a trusted source, but he was also just a great person and somebody who was pleasant and fun to be around. So,
Matt Sutton, I appreciate you being here, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Bridge Valley, offering custom-tailored trainings to supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Summer savings are happening right now at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Hurricane, and you can't afford to miss this. Now you know that Gene and Ryan have built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. But those deals are getting better this summer. That's because right now Walker has employee pricing going on all month long. Yeah, that's right. You pay what we pay. Check this out. New 2025 Ram Crew Cabs with up to $12,500 off MSRP. You'll also find new Ram 2500 Crew Cabs priced with up to $10,000 off MSRP. And if an SUV for a family vacation is what you're after this summer, look no further than the Jeep Grand Cherokee. That's the one with third row seating, and you'll find it right now Walker priced with up to $8,000 off MSRP. Don't wait, because these deals and this inventory aren't going to last long. Take that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
A new era of Marshall Thundering Herd football is underway with West Virginia native Tony Gibson now in charge, and you can save 50% on season tickets. Marshall University is this week's 50-50 Friday. The defending conference champions will be the targets of everyone in the Sun Belt this year, and you can be there for every home game. Friday at 9 a.m. go to WCHSnetwork.com and click the 50-50 Friday button to save 50% on season tickets for the upcoming Marshall football season, courtesy of the WCHS family of networks.
7 minutes away from 10, Bigley, Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, get a regularly priced large 18-inch pizza and get a free 2-liter Pepsi. Find your nearest Huston's and HustonsPizza.com. Text says, update Epstein files, ? Text says, Dave, if Kane, John Elmore, and Kinsey were there, that would have ended with a heard that win, no doubt. Get it started now. Get it all stirred up. For one, this was a follow-up to the previous text. It said, why do Republicans who have historically professed their loyalty and adherence to the Constitution always challenge and try to go against the rules and laws? Follow-up to that said, for one, Patrick Morrissey attempting to subvert the constitutional right of the Board of Education. For two, Donald Trump and our congressional representatives ignoring due process while they're renditioning undocumented immigrants, and two surface incidents that show the Republicans don't respect constitutions. Republicans like the Constitution in name only, says the texter. Text says, while many people in the city complain about the homeless and people in crisis, the services we provide them are substandard despite the best efforts of the caring and compassionate people working to help them. If we could stop criticizing the people experiencing homelessness, mental health crisis, domestic violence, and addiction, maybe we can get them quality help and facilities that they truly need. Text says, the legendary duo WCHS TV, 6 p.m., Tom McGee and Mary Sue Jackson. 100% agree. There's been a lot in the news really over the last couple of years about the Dunbar Police Department. Aaron Parker has got a story posted at WVMetroNews.com. Police Chief in Dunbar, John Garton, says the officer that had been named in multiple lawsuits has handed in his resignation. Officer Zachary Winters had served with the department for 5 years, and in that time, he was named in 2 lawsuits, one of which ended with the death of a suspect. And combined, the 2 lawsuits cost the city around $2.5 million, according to Aaron's story, WVMetroNews.com. Now, there's been a video circulating around social media of a police cruiser crashing in Raleigh County, and reportedly, Officer Winters was at the wheel. Anyway, Officer Winters has resigned, and this police situation overall in Dunbar, at least in the service, has been a mess. Hopefully they'll be able to get that straightened out for the people of Dunbar. Coming up later today, Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. On the show today, we're going to continue to talk about menus in the schools this fall and how the school systems are adapting to the changes enacted by the legislature. We'll get into that story. We'll continue to talk about the passing of Tom McGee. Mark Martin, legendary sports broadcaster who worked alongside Tom, is going to join us. It's Metro News Midday with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me coming up at noon today, brought to you by Salango Law. And as I mentioned earlier, speaking of legendary broadcasters, the always fascinating Bob Brunner is going to join me on the show tomorrow, as is Delegate Dana Farrell. That is coming up on tomorrow's show. What is the update on the Epstein files? Well, there is no update. That's the update. Sorry, there is no update. One other thing about Tom McGee, and I'll bring TJ Meadows in here. I did not know Tom McGee personally. Our paths never crossed, although I certainly was aware of his work at WCHS Television, no relation, and WOWK. Of course, he later went on to become an attorney, and he died at the age of 78 in hospice care. He was quite the character, from what I've been told, and his demons, of course, were well known. But he just looked the part, as we said earlier, of a polished big city anchor person. And he just looked, as I said earlier, I think if you looked up, television anchor person, especially at that time frame, you're going to see Tom McGee's picture. Absolutely. He came here from CNN, and he'd worked at various places. Birmingham, I think, was one of the places he worked. So it's certainly a loss for the broadcasting community here in West Virginia. TJ Meadows is here, and you and I were talking. Some of our conversation were on the air, and some was off the air with Matt Sutton about growing up and seeing Tom McGee on television. I mean, that was like the standard, man. He and Bob Brunner, who's going to be on the show tomorrow. I'm more of a Brunner guy because it's more my generation. I'm a little bit older than you are, but that's that was the news to us.
As a child of the 80s, 6 o'clock, it was Tom McGee, Mary Sue Jackson, our very own Dave Weekley.
Yeah.
On sports. I mean, that was the staple in the greater Kanawha Valley, southern West Virginia. For the most part, that's who you watched. And he was a household name. Everyone knew Tom, and it was an era where we didn't have all of these other outlets. Yeah. We didn't have social media. The internet was not there yet. And that was a fixation for local television.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew the guy, and you see Tom McGee. It's Tom McGee.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a big deal. He was, and I don't mean this pejoratively, he was our Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. And I want to throw another name out there, too, and that's Bob Smith.
Yeah.
Bob Smith, of course, was WOWK and then later at WSAZ. Bob Smith, you see him from time to time as a spokesperson for Victory Toyota. And Bob, quick story about Bob. Bob's broadcast career started at the radio station where I spent 20 years doing mornings, WVW in Logan.
Interesting.
He came down from Cincinnati. I know Jimmy Buffett's song. He came down from, but he did. He was out of Cincinnati and he went to work at WVW and worked there for a few years. That's where he got. That was his first.
Did not know
his
that.
first broadcasting. His first gig.
Learn something every day.
Something else that you may not know. Nah, that's a trivia thing. I'll save it for later.
Okay. All right.
All right, go ahead.
It's your show.
What's on the show today, buddy?
Mike McKenna, our buddy from the Washington Times, joins us at 10:06. He's got a new commentary out. We'll discuss that. Danny Jones joins us to remember Tom McGee. Jared Halpern on all things Trump at 11:06 from D.C. Interesting story. Bill Steinbeck of Wellsburg will join. He'll join us, the police chief from Wellsburg.
All right, got to go. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.